A warm greetings to one and all present here. I am Abirami of grade 6, studying in Frontline Newgen International School. Today, I came up with an interesting topic. I hope you all guessed it right. It is the history of space exploration. In this session, I'll include topics such as what is space exploration, early beginnings, the space race, Apollo 11, Apollo 13 successful failure, Soviet moon missions, Indian satellites, Mars rovers, space shuttle, International Space Station, robotic exploration, modern development, space explorations today, future possibilities, and finally wrap up. Before getting into the topic, let's understand what is space exploration. Space exploration is the systematic investigation and exploration of the outer space beyond the Earth's atmosphere. It's like exploring the asteroids, meteorites, the sun, the moon, and other galaxies. Let's start with the early beginnings. The early humans created a fascination with the stars, and the Babylonian created calendars and started agriculture before 2000 years ago. It's because they created calendars by seeing the position of the moon. The ancient Greeks were probably mathematicians and philosophers. During the Renaissance period, which was probably between the 16th and 17th century, two pivotal figures emerged. They were Galileo Galilei and Johannes Kepler. Galileo Galilei found the phases of moon and drew the Jupiter by calculating its breadth. Next is the space race. The space race took place in the 20th century during the Cold War between the US and Soviet Union, the present day Russia. The Soviet Union and US were fighting for their power. They started to explore the space, which was called the Cold War, and the Soviet Union launched satellites such as Sputnik in October 4, 1957. This is the story behind the formation of NASA. In April 12, 1961, Yuri Gagarin was traveling in Vostok 1, and he was the first person to travel into the space. In May 5, Alan Shepard was traveling in Freedom 7 and was the first American astronaut to travel into the space. This was the story behind Neil Armstrong's first step in the moon in 1969. He said one quote, "That was one small step for a man, a giant leap for mankind." Next, we'll see Apollo 11, which was launched by NASA in July 16, 1969. The mission was to land astronauts on moon and conduct some experiments. There were 3 astronauts who were Alan Shepard, Neil Armstrong, and Buzz Aldrin. In July 20, 1969, the mission Eagle was launched. The time taken was 2.5 hours for the Eagle mission. In July 24, 1969, the astronauts were back to Earth, and Buzz Aldrin was the second person to step on the moon. Next, let's see the Apollo 13, which was called the successful failure. The reason behind the name for this is the oxygen tank incident. First, let's see the launch date of this mission. It was launched in April 11, 1970. The mission's overview is here. It was a 7th crew mission of NASA. It carried James E. Lovell Jr., T. John L. Swigert Jr., and Fred W. Hayes Jr. James A. Lovell Jr. was the assistant, and T. John L. Swigert Jr. was the assistant lunar pilot, and Fred W. Hayes Jr. was the pilot. Next, let's see the oxygen tank incident. The oxygen tank incident made the mission the catastrophic failure. In April 13, 1970, just 2 days after the mission's launch, the mission experienced a catastrophic failure. Haston, we had a problem here, said James A. Lovell because of the oxygen tank incident. Next, we'll be seeing about Soviet moon missions. The Soviet moon missions conducted a pioneering series of missions. It launched lunar orbiters, landers, and sample return missions. The remarkable one is the lunar one, which was launched in 1959, and it was the first human-made object to escape the Earth's gravitational force. The next is the Luna 2 mission, which was launched in 1959. Next, we'll be seeing about India's satellites. India launched many satellites, and some of the famous satellites are listed below. The first one is the Chandrayaan missions. The Chandrayaan 1 mission was launched. In October 22, 2008, Chandrayaan 1 was launched. The Chandrayaan 1 found water molecules on moon and sent some pictures too. It exceeded up to August 2009. The second one is the Chandrayaan 2. In July 22, 2019, it was launched and it was a failure. It planned a soft landing on September 2019, and it consists of an orbiter, lander, and rover. The lander was Vikram and the rover was Pragyan. The third one is Chandrayaan 3, which was launched recently in July 14, 2023. It consists of an orbiter, lander, and rover. The rover was called Pragyan and the lander was Vikram. It aimed a soft landing on moon, and it made India the first country to land on the south pole of the moon without any failures. Next, we'll see about the Mangalyaan. Mangalyaan was a Mars orbiter mission which was launched by India in November 5, 2013. It was India's first Mars rover, and it carried scientific payloads for conducting experiments and studying the Mars. It entered the Mars orbit in September 2014 and sent some pictures to the Earth. Next, we'll see about the Mars rovers. As we head into this topic, we'll be having several Mars rovers such as the Sojourner, the Spirit and Opportunity, Perseverance, and Curiosity. First, let's see about Sojourner, which was launched in 1997, which was NASA's first Mars rover. It was small, like a car, and six-wheel. It was launched to study the Martian geology, climate, and atmosphere, and it also sent some pictures to the Earth to study the Mars much more. The second one is Spirit and Opportunity. They were twin rovers which were launched in 2004. Spirit exceeded up to 2010 and Opportunity up to 2018. The third one in the list is Curiosity, which was launched in 2012. It was a Mars Science Laboratory, and it was a mini car sized and had 4 wheels. It was to explore the Mount Sharp, which is the biggest mountain in Mars. The fourth and last one is Perseverance, which was launched in 2021. It is the NASA's most recent Mars rover. It was launched in February 2021. It carried the first helicopter to fly on other planet, which is Mars. And we'll be seeing about the space shuttles. The space shuttles were a set of programs initiated by the NASA, which started in 1981 and exceeded up to 2011. The aim of the program is to create reusable spacecraft system, and the mission was successful. It was from the Skylab space station, and the Hubble Space Telescope, which was created in 1990, was one of the significant programs conducted by the space shuttles. Next, we'll see about the International Space Station. International Space Station, in short known as the ISS, is a testament for human beings to explore the space much more and even invent some more satellites and aircrafts. It is a microgravity lab for research and experimentations. Astronauts often come here to conduct experiments about the other planets and moon. It is 420 kilometers above the Earth's surface and it is as big as a football stadium. It was formed with the consent of agencies such as the NASA from United States, Roscosmos from Russia, ESA, the European Space Agency, JAXA, the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency, and CSA from Canada. You might wonder why India didn't join them. It is because India had several plans to launch on the Chandrayaan missions and Mangalyaan mission. India has launched another mission called the Pragyan to explore the sun. Next is robotic exploration. In these days, we humans use robots to explore the space. They play a pivotal role in expanding our knowledge of the cosmos, which is the space. Some of the major launches were the Voyager 1 and 2, which were launched in 1977. They were also called twin rovers because they were launched at a time. Voyager 1 was planned to conduct experiments about Jupiter and Saturn, and Voyager 2 was to conduct experiments in Uranus and Neptune. The mission was successful. Next, let's see about modern developments. We are creating reusable rockets and we made the Crew Dragon spacecraft and Starship spacecraft. And let's see some of the views. The SpaceX most remarkable achievement is creating reusable spacecraft which can be used later for many purposes. The Crew Dragon spacecraft is the spacecraft used to land astronauts on ISS. The Starship spacecraft is one of the reusable spacecraft created by the SpaceX. The Blue Origin and the Virgin Galactic spacecrafts will take the normal civilians to other planets including Mars and also the moon. Next, we'll see about space explorations today. The developments till date are vibrant and creating a dynamic landscape for humans to explore the cosmos. The NASA will continue to play a leading role in launching satellites and exploring the space. The James Webb Space Telescope, which was initiated by the NASA, is ready to launch, and the exploration beyond the Earth's orbit, such as the Mars, is the epic focus of companies such as NASA, SpaceX, and ISRO. Next, we'll be seeing about future possibilities. In future possibilities, we have asteroid mining. Asteroid mining is to mine the asteroids for conducting experiments, and we'll sometimes get resources such as water and other minerals. Resource extraction. From mining asteroids, we can get resources from the space, and it will be a nice thing for humans. The next is space fueling stations. We'll mine fossil fuels from the space and use it to power our satellites. The next is deep space exploration. We humans will start building more satellites, aircrafts, Mars rovers, lunar orbiters, and etc. to explore the sun, moon, and more. The fifth and the major domain is Mars colonization. As the Earth is getting crowded, companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic are planning to take normal civilians to the Mars to colonize there. As we wrap up, I conclude my speech by saying that the most remarkable and awe-inspiring achievements were done in the field of cosmos. The Apollo 11 moon landing was one of the remarkable features of NASA, and the Hubble Space Telescope will continue to send pictures to the Earth. As I conclude my topic, I'd like to say that's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind by Neil Armstrong. Thank you.